Mr. Lynch, life's only behind forever. Good morning, Mr. Master simply, Mr. Master simply, or 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 simply David. It's February 10th. Sorry, 10 days is February 2026, 2026. It's a Tuesday in April. Today once again totally cloudy. Yes, sir. Yes, totally wet, very cloudy, see morbidly wet, this countersphere in general, and it also seems to stay now. Perhaps also with the wine cold and heavy, see beer perhaps more heavy than cold, in general is wine heavy and cold, but in general this is wine, it's early afternoon, 13 and 15 minutes. 55 for Fahrenheit 13 Celsius, and this means it's really cold. This is for cold, it's for winter period, so support for yourself, spec Shantan, for yourself, June 17, spec to read work for yourself with the words, last general summer, last summer, perhaps non remember for me, non glass of some, I think on body. Spec to read work for yourself, you do not for the winter coming to be assessed on December 21, party on 16 for 18 p.m. In Italy, perhaps non remember for body, so body, supposing مشهورة توازي دراماتيك مسين society intentional reports of activation to change its pattern for me landing this unit declarations for spring some units factor spring association soft for some agitated for the once again yashi soft notas in general for all season to periods classicagity so as notas in general for all seasons to periods classicagity as regards degrees as for me all something good hotel absolutely incomplete better known is here because it's winter it's cold so we complain should complain but when in the sense is absolutely incomplete I'm feeling was fair to me particularly perhaps really for this period for fact don't feel cold better for fact don't feel cold better feel cold less another period in questo series of practice che sapete to practice I follow the doing since some years which I always start to fare cold when I'm coming the winter period winter weather words period I always try to comment because check this primo tale su practice in case soprattutto nella first part of this comment in asterisk so if someone is interested to note tale su practice in case repeat this first part of this comment in asterisk or non first più friendly I think not because the fact I feel cold relative think yes or no dispenso them I think 95% they feel cold or even in general in some way for me was good instead of att skatta så jag tror jag fick jag kan se som ting just för ingen så bättre till sim så kan vi som finns det så Gri afro, finché tre pratici non si dice, ripete se just before, if you find for a fan and 13 Celsius, but important in questa atmosfera, si dette anticipated. Before to this. Essere su cortine su se cortine in genere mi ripresentami ci usiamo surf this suppose for consider as repeat sky totally what secret cloud perhaps more grey and what and considering according considering trend sulla stesi consider according to tutti ridi consider sensation settings I think it's most sure that later later after possible lady early after test also between late after late after Matt became dark bleak and also that matri if test we have aviar rain because I think we're really close to in general rain or laterin let's see we see what happens Meta su questo dopo sicuramente poi dice Wizards secondo questo non fi clients come scritto dei ria bad so si dice il medico quindi non white cortine in flowers green flowers long flowers mixed in plants in cortine senza stamne poi magari insomma con lo so berti o breve su particolare der berti trip and the patch from the preso in cortine in fact all the things that you met so di opzione che si vanno come comment section should be tipo entrato in first comment perhaps forte comment one of them is di comment section I don't know if you can see another city the world of the shot near me for later think yes see the green flowers along the flowers mixed in plants or if not even better Julie better non riesce a trovare the first part of the video to which Perugia showed you the white scatter scienza con classico mitico window un classico mitico room a sapso non è solo mitico window dal mitico room More from a broader perspective, also from this perspective, shot segment ragazzi shot film more than Terrasico perhaps il November 1 2022 infantry max per more than Terrasico for the best. However, I repeat, the beautiful recruiting, the beautiful Pentabench, the purpose for the first illustrato report, care recruiting infantry max at least surely, care recruiting still core image of the channel and one day sono metamici legitime, also seeing this shot, also related, fact, above when there is integral shooter, also when there is, but more when there is, because if measure, now see the latest picture sentence, so saying is for the scurte repeat before penta bench sta possono dire per fast scurtini care first film solo che porta care curtini e possono dire che non remember exactly this now see edit so for using curtini so rimettere repeat expression sono dire for first times yes this little picture sentence is this but also always better visible for me in its entirety in its shot si può si mythical legend shot. As regard the shooter, new activism, fan activism is first days for last October. It's important tool, but important is that also today is not. And also you read it, and also you read a little speech sentence usually for the recruiting also for it because is valid also for it. So I repeat once again, but also and always better visible for me its entirety in its shot, this one mythical legend shot. And finally, from a mythical keyboard NGX 640 PG 625 also in the case from this mythical legend shot. And since a few weeks, particularly to precise towards German 24, I filmed a new shot in which you can see the actual condition of the keyboard, but the condition is in December 2nd, 2024. However, yes, you can see also this new condition of the keyboard, so this is a new shot. Yeah, getting more people of Jean the Perth repeating it over. So I'm my sister. So myself, Russell Busquets, and finally, I hope you all get breakfast. Today it's late in general, so my ass fact when I say late in for massive, even if, as I'm repeating, it's last December 31, top occasion for the first time. In fact, it's late in general for the people, and all for the record, my record. At not at all from us, because from us are kind of a normality in this period, let's say the winter period. Yes, in fact, make breakfast at this house, at the same time it's late. However, but the ball important is that si fa for the regular action sembrando tutti i salari in fact back sfentene sembra che si sta di sfentene parte di better thinking e milk sfentene parte mette fusi essere si finché te regoli sia che sembra che su straccio vado ripetere close the regoli to some as if no more non the yes sì just before that just roll obviously just rolling quota 13 and 50 minutes. But the important thing is to remember that in some way also today fortunately so memory young and as we always say Ekva sono most ability in sport absolutely as you know, the most maniera this point I think more than 1 year is I always lost conto di think like effect of the X reason also the new reason but in this moment better see the X from a reason it was the fifth in the story of the report the beautiful red black and so what and that if the point in comparison with the best from some aspects similar to me first one and second in the story all things that no perhaps if someone following me on particular fare privacy with the report think nobody because nobody watch all my videos all my reports but mi repeat this should be done video and I promise you that one day or one time, so many times, but this is better. This is the nature of these things for me, this speech. And for the Saran shots, obviously, not a joke because all the most funny ones, for the Sarah biscuits are my favorite factor. There are many beautiful combos with the beautiful biscuit and CS. I think at one mess not types are chocolate chip cookies, raw cookies, chips, chocolate chips. and if I had a mistake, I also have to discuss with Lynch. Nothing particular. There are things that will use red and this. The first one, but make a factor shot, non che of chips. But also the quick shock, le fa così da fresh out and piece. A shot, nei flash think se ne monza se che lo sto conto, c'è di sta pira, sono in tanci per better to use more is quick, but it finished. Nowadays, once in brought it, once in I think 222, 23 years or so, che lo sto conto, should be the pira, sono in tanci better. And since that moment I pat insert dit once again the milk, so very good news. We need also technique as a breakfast. Questa bomba sta spiro in particolare mega bomba. I mean, for sake, it's a spirit giocoso. Lo so che mazzo Mossonia. So, of course, I'm eating to the first time, so that period. And if it's a also it's a toll, Nicolas breakfast, so it's a mega bomba. Second thing is about CS factory. If there are Arabi Russia strada Conanda, Ranzi, Irans, mi sa second place position. Perhaps also che segue first place position with them, the bomb, but c'è una second place position. Because, altre viste questa posizione formare Italia Palma Dark Jock Ship Silas. Fa cosa? A true come nel medio. Because they are really super bad. Sì, tomorrow se poi fare un telefono, non ti tomorrow, 8 quello di lepe. Ma well sì.